Good evening, everyone, and welcome tonight. And I want to thank the Toronto chapter of Room to Read for asking me to share my story as an entrepreneur in getting involved with Room to Read and my experience, and hopefully encourage some other folks in the room to maybe follow the same path that I followed going back probably 4 or 5 years ago. I want to again thank the Toronto chapter for putting on this event. I apologize for not being there. I have another personal event that I have to be at, and I couldn't change it up, and I wish I was there. But again, I'm fortunate that we've been able to record this and I can share my story. If you're like me, as an entrepreneur, I've been incubating companies since 2000 and run a number of companies in the GTA. But I've always wondered why I do what I do. And sometimes you lay awake at night and wondering why you do what you do, and that there has to be a broader purpose for profit. So a number of years ago I started thinking about that, and as we were growing our company and we had been listed on Profit Magazine's fastest growing companies in Canada for 5 consecutive years, we were holding an employee event. And I'll talk about that event in a second, but that's really what was the catalyst for a lot of things that have happened since then. Back in 2004, how it originally got started, I was watching television on Boxing Day. And if you remember in 2004 on Boxing Day, it was when the tsunami hit Thailand and the surrounding area. And I overheard an interview of a gentleman who was talking about some of his endeavors in terms of his nonprofit, and what some of the things that he was doing in some of the poorest regions of the world, and what some of his contributions could be in some of these devastated areas. And it was John Wood. And so I sat down and watched the entire interview on CNN, and when that interview was over, it set something in motion in me that said, this guy really gets it, this organization gets it, the way he laid out the overview of how he runs it like a business and truly like an entrepreneur, and tries to put every dollar to work and has real tangible results for what he does. It resonates with an entrepreneur, and hopefully when you hear John talk today later after me, that message resonates with you, and it's something that you hopefully haven't heard from other nonprofits, and it'll really make you think about how potentially you can get involved. And I really do think that it's an investment. I don't look at it as a donation. I look at it as an investment, and an investment for a number of reasons. So again, I hope that we'll be able to encourage other folks to follow in line with what I did. And the other thing that I want to be clear about the way John runs his business, and I think entrepreneurs can appreciate this, is he originally talked to me about a term that he used internally, and I think it was GSD. And I'm going to leave it up to him to explain what GSD means, in case there's a word in there that I'm not supposed to use in this gathering. But I'll let John clarify what GSD means. But GSD should be every entrepreneur's motto. So one of the things that happened in that 2007 employee meeting that I talked about is we were getting ready to kind of kick off a new year after 5 consecutive years of kind of being voted as fastest growing companies in Canada. And we had a lot of slides and a lot of things that happened throughout that day around operational efficiencies, around profit objectives, sales targets, what we've done, celebrating what we've achieved as a group. And it wasn't until the very last hour of that entire day that we played a video that was an animated video about our new involvement with Room to Read, and the fact that we were going to dedicate to our employees a computer lab in the remote regions of Vietnam through Room to Read. And at that point, the entire vibe in the room changed, and it was at that moment that I truly realized that what it meant to have a broader purpose in an organization, how you truly were going to galvanize your employees beyond anything that was related to revenue objectives or profit sharing or anything else. Truly, when I saw tears in the eyes, and I had people coming up to me after that announcement of what we were going to do, and it was literally like a rush of enthusiasm with how they could get involved. So that employee event that happened in 2007 was really a galvanizing point for our company and for our employees, and since then our employees have all participated in further fundraising initiatives with further reading rooms, schools, libraries, and some of our employees have actually been part of the visits to some of these regions to see some of the facilities. Specifically, in May of 2011, a group of us went to see a secondary school that was built in a remote region in Nepal. And again, I'll reiterate to everyone, hopefully you've seen some video and heard some more information from John afterwards, is that the results are real. I mean, the people in these villages couldn't be more thankful. It struck me when we were in the village, and we were greeted by over 1,000 people in the village that wanted to celebrate us being there that day for the investment that we made in their children, and a beautiful secondary facility that I can't even believe is built for the price that we paid. Is that one of the elders in the village was sobbing uncontrollably and just kept wanting to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and it really hit home that really those folks can help inspire us in terms of doing more and being involved with something like Room to Read, where again every penny does count, and it gets to work fairly quickly. Again, no different than how an entrepreneur would run their business. Um, the last thing I want to say is I heard John speak once at a Power Within conference when I was actually coming to pick him up to take him to another event years ago. And I happened to walk into the room when he was on stage. And one of the things he was saying to the folks in the crowd at the Power Within conference was that he challenged everybody to name a situation where they've ever purchased anything, gone on a trip somewhere, whatever they've done in terms of spending their money, where it's really had a lasting impact at a soulful level. And he challenged everyone, and his challenge was it really rarely does. But when you do something like this, I can tell you, whether it's with you, with your family, with your friends, with your employees, it really does hit at a soulful and a spiritual level. And I think it's definitely worth investigating and really listening hard to what John has to say later on tonight. If you have kids, I can also tell you that my son knows that I had been in business for many years, and probably about 4 years ago when someone asked him at school what his dad did, he said he built schools. Which is actually quite funny when you think about all the things that I thought I was representing from a business perspective, and what really struck my son was the fact that I had been involved in building a school in a poor region of the world. So I would encourage all of you to, if you get a chance in the room tonight, to think hard about how else you could contribute to Room to Read. Think about it from an entrepreneur's perspective, not only the impact it's going to have on you as an individual, but the impact that it could have on your employees, on your family, and specifically on your kids. And I think that setting that perspective in kids is one of the biggest challenges that we all have. And I can tell you that my involvement in doing what I've done for Room to Read has really helped me in that discussion around perspective, because perspective is an interesting discussion when it comes to your children. So also I was asked to hopefully get everyone to take a look at Claire Hall, who's come over and done a wonderful painting, which actually is a photo from that visit that I had to Nepal. And if you get a chance, please be part of the bidding up of that art. It's going to be a donation to Room to Read. Claire has been generous to donate her time to do this painting and to donate the proceeds to Room to Read. So please, everyone, have a look. And Claire is one of the top up-and-coming artists in Toronto, so we're so thrilled that she was able to donate her time. So I want to thank everyone again. Good luck tonight, and I guess hopefully thank you very much, and we hear from some good things that happen from this event. Thank you.